So I see that I am the meeting host. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm still there. I'm here. I know if I'm the host. Right, wait a minute. So, no. Yep, it says host me. Yep, got it. Okay, thank you, Grace, for the rescue. You bet, of course. I'm all good. I'm happy. I will pause recording, but yes. Well, obviously you all saw the Zoom alert.
Yes, but some of the others might not have.
Well, hopefully here comes Joanne and Martha. So
Okay.
we're good. And hopefully Elizabeth will come along. Because the link is changed on the town calendar, obviously. So if Elizabeth doesn't see the email, it's okay. It's on the town calendar. So hopefully. Oh, there's Joanne.
Hello.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, how's everybody?
Nice to see you, Joanne.
Yes.
You too. It's been a while.
It has been. Hi, Martha.
After your.
Hi, Susan. Hello, all.
Hi,
Linda.
Martha.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi.
Janet.
Nice to see you.
You too, Susan Gomberg. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Okay.
On the phone. Nice to hear you.
Shall we go ahead?
Hey.
Okay, so we'll call our meeting to order at 5:33 p.m. And we are expecting Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien from Village Neighbors to join us at some point. And so we have our guest, Martha, here, and everybody. So why don't we just go around and say our names for the record? So Linda Ava Scott.
Joanne Bernhard.
Susan
Martha
Gomberg.
Foster.
Janice Gray.
Susan Millinger.
Okay, all right, so we're all good. So Martha, what we have an agenda, and we're gonna start with the minutes. And, then we're going to have a financial update on various levels. If Elizabeth joins us, we'll have a Village Neighbors update. We're going to talk about our newsletter, the Gazette, and membership vacancies and anything else that comes up. I just want to quickly let you all know, if in case you don't, that the ability to hold remote meetings has been extended through March of 2023 for municipalities. So we're good on that, bit. Okay, so we'll do the minutes. So we have May 11th. Do I hear a motion to approve?
This is Bernhard. I move that we approve the minutes of May 11th as presented by Susan Millinger.
Janice Gray seconds.
Okay, any comments? Okay, none being heard. Shall we we'll have a roll call vote by alphabetical order.
Okay, Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, I.
And Scott, aye. Thank you, Susan, and as
You're welcome.
always. And okay, so we have the minutes of June 15th. Shall we have a motion?
Bernhard, I move that we accept the minutes of June 15th as presented by Susan Millinger.
Susan Gomberg, I second that.
Okay, any comments?
Mhm.
Okay, roll call vote.
Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, I.
And Scott, aye. Okay, thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're gonna have the financial update. I sent around to everybody prior to the meeting that we were going to have on the 13th, basically a summary, and so maybe I could, would you like me to screen share the little summary I made up for everybody?
Mhm.
That'd be helpful.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, let's see if I can do it. I'm trying. Well,
Okay.
it's coming. It's coming. Thought I had it organized properly, but apparently I do not.
Well, I have the numbers written down from
Okay.
there if you want to
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I have the
um,
printout,
Okay, all right.
but Martha will be kind of in the dark. So,
Yes, that's why I was hoping to
Right.
screen share it, but I can't now. I have to get myself back to where I was.
So this was the report on what was spent in fiscal 22. There it comes.
Oh, did it come up?
well, it says you've started screen sharing, but it's blank right now.
Okay, never mind. I'm trying to undo it, but sorry, everybody.
Mhm.
I'm stopping the share, which is not, I apologize for not.
Okay, well, to continue.
Yes.
So this was, we had a reporting of what was spent on various things during the fiscal year 22.
Yes.
And so for the foot clinic, we had $2,030.
That's, wait a second. That's not what I'm seeing.
No, same here.
So we had, right, I put the totals for FY 22.
Mhm.
Then we additionally had from the totals, from the ending balance, then we had the foot clinic from June and some exercise classes. So then we have a remaining balance.
Yes.
Okay.
So the foot clinic was $1,800 plus $230 in June.
Yes.
Okay, so the total there is $2,030.
300, two. Is that right?
Do we need a calculator?
Well, if you're adding the 1,800 and the 230, that would be correct.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that's what we're supposed to be doing, because did we pay the June expenditures in July?
So, no, we paid it, okay. We were, so I made this up, and when I made this up and sent it out to you, then the foot clinic,
It was through June for other things other than the foot clinic and exercise classes.
the additional June expenditures were listed
Okay.
separately.
Okay.
Yes, yes, because I based the first section of the expense report. Oh, thank you. The first section of the expense summary is based on the PDF I sent you from Gail Weiss. So I
Yeah.
wanted to show you how that matched up and what the totals were, so that so that we know that we were in alignment with her. And then additionally, subsequent to her report, we had the $230 for the foot clinic in June and $1,300 in exercise classes, leaving us with a balance of $1,927.71. Okay, so that's why it was distributed that way, so that it would match up with Gail's report. And so that was our balance at the end of the fiscal year.
Mhm. And to that, then we add, because we don't have to give that back anymore now.
Correct.
To that, we add the $6,000 grant from MCOA,
Yes.
which gives us now a working number of $7,927.71.
I sure wish we would get rid of that 71 cents.
Well, find a way.
Okay, for Martha's sake, should we read the other figures in the totals for the year?
We can. So the fitness classes, these are co-sponsored by the Council on Aging and the library with Marianne. We had a total there of $4,170 that COA gave to or paid for fitness classes co-sponsored with the library. In addition to that, we had $670 co-sponsored with the library for museum passes. That was the Butterfly Museum. And what was the other one? Was it the Clark or was it?
Mass MoCA?
Mass MoCA and the Butterfly Museum. Okay. Other than that, we had expenses. We had dues for MCOA, Massachusetts Council on Aging. That was $230. We had a $500 donation to Village Neighbors. And a one-time expense of $54 for stamps for a mailing that we did. So the total that we spent, Linda, as you designated, was
Excuse me,
what?
you gotta call Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien, can't get in. She's sort of waiting for the host to let her in.
Okay, Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien can't get in and is waiting for the host to let her in.
Just a minute, please. I'm
Yeah.
writing her an email. She is not in our waiting room. She's using the wrong thing.
Oh, where Gary, wait.
I got her. I'm sending her an email.
Okay. She's in the wrong room. She has to get. Okay. Well, yeah, Linda just emailed her.
Yeah, I sent her an email earlier, but I guess she didn't see it.
Okay,
Just like the same one I sent to all of you. So
great. We got it. Yeah. Okay, so back to the finances. The total that we spent for the year for 22 was $7,654, and we have a remainder of 71 cents, Susan.
Yes.
yes, so
Okay.
okay, and now the next update is that in July, the foot care was $180. So
Mhm.
our current balance is $7,747.71. Okay. So,
7,747.71.
yes,
Okay,
got
thank you.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now we've got that report done. And so what we have before us tonight regarding financials is our annual dues came from the Mass Council on Aging, so they're $230. We have our annual contribution to Village Neighbors of $500. And then to be, these are to be paid. Well, we know we've already voted to pay to do the $500 contribution. So we do need to consider the MCOA dues and the request from Marianne for $1,500 toward the cost of 4 programs for the first quarter of FY23. Okay. There you go.
Okay, and looking at the whole year coming up, we have the MCOA dues, we have the village neighbor contribution. Does the foot clinic, do we think the foot clinic will use the same amount as last year or less or more in terms of budgeting? Do we use the same amount or?
I think to use the same amount makes sense.
Susan Gomberg?
I would say use the same amount.
Okay. Or do we need to add more in or to be safe?
It's unknown because we could have new people, sign up at any time.
Okay.
We just don't know that.
Okay, so we can use the same amount, but you feel that we may need a little extra if someone else signs up. So is that right?
That would, sure, that would make sense. Also, as I said, we just don't know who's going to sign up, and
Right.
people can. It's in the website that it's available. So a little extra would be a good thing.
Martha, do you know about the foot clinic and what the subsidies mean?
I'm aware that I was aware that there was a foot clinic. I'm not quite sure sort of what services that actually offers. And so I'd be interested to know.
Okay.
And who performs those services?
Yeah, Susan Gomberg, can you give a quick rundown of that?
Sure. The foot clinic is contracts with Foot Care by Nurses. It's started in Greenfield, and it now has 3 offices throughout the state. A registered nurse who's certified in foot care takes care of all manner of foot problems for seniors who, I don't know, they have trouble. We have trouble bending to cut toenails. Diabetic feet. People usually see her every other month. She does a foot exam and she takes care of anything that's ongoing, taking a picture, taking care of, again, whatever needs to be doing. And it's a very good service. We've had the same nurse for about 3 years now. She knows the folks and is people give her high marks, as I do. Currently, home visits are, we suggest, I'm guessing here because I don't really remember, we suggest a $60 payment, but we basically take whatever they will give us. If somebody can't afford it, that's fine. If they can afford $10, we're not going to tell someone they can't have their feet done. The payment is just given to the foot nurse. She takes whatever is handed over. There's no demand for more than that. And now, as I'm thinking, is our suggestion $35, Linda?
We don't give any suggestions now for the home visits.
Okay.
People pay what they are able to.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I think
so
an
it ranges from,
ongoing.
the contributions range from $10 to the full amount.
And the
I
full
think
amount
a
is
new-
90, is that
90.
correct?
Yes.
Yes, yes. A new person, if we got a new person in, I think a new person home visit is 120.
Mhm.
But most people these days, I think, are chipping in 60 to 90.
And then the
It's a very good
COA makes
service.
up the difference.
Elizabeth is here.
Yay.
Hey. Um,
The
Okay,
clinic used to be in the town hall, Martha, just to let you know, meeting in the senior room, but that hasn't happened since COVID.
Mhm. So these are
And that's
home
very
visits.
thanks.
These are home visits where the nurse goes to the person's home.
Okay.
I just want to take a minute to welcome Elizabeth. I'm glad you could make it.
Yay.
Yes, hooray. Sorry about the confusion. We had a last minute change so that, anyway, it's a long Zoom saga. So I'm glad you made it.
Thanks.
And I think you know everyone, though we have a Martha Fobb is here. Do I pronounce that correct, Martha?
I say Favre.
Favre, Martha Favre is here joining us this evening. And so do you know
Hi,
Elizabeth?
Martha. Yes, we know each other. How nice.
Okay, great, great. Okay, so we're doing our financial update, and when we get through that, we'll be ready for our village neighbors update.
Okey doke.
Okay. Okay, so
Susan,
Question? Question for the secretary. Could you please repeat the library, the size of the library request? I'm not sure I got it correct.
$1,500.
Thank you. Thanks.
for
Can-
for the fall quarter.
For
Yes,
the first
I
quarter,
got that. Yeah.
first quarter, July, August, and September.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? So the amount that you pay to Mass Council on Aging, what does the town get for that?
So we really, it's Mass Council on Aging is it's an quasi-governmental, would that be correct, Janice? Would you say that? It's not a governmental organization. It is located, they are located in East Hampton, and they do a great deal of advocacy on the behalf of councils on aging at the governmental level, state government level. So they're like our, there are advocates for funding. They're particularly, they do a lot of work for the larger councils, particularly those with senior centers, than the small rural councils, though they do hold a rural conference every year. They also send us at least weekly MCOA briefs with information about what's happening. And they also have a MCOA sort of chat line for folks to write in with questions and concerns and get feedback and peer support from other councils. So that is the short, but basically, and also they do education and training for COAs, and that pretty much sums it up. They're also, I should also say that they have an expanded dementia-friendly Massachusetts portion of their newsletter, and so they do a lot actually on our behalf.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the explanation.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you, Susan.
So
Okay, so
okay.
that was the MCOA dues,
Mhm, so
that
we-
item in the financials.
Yes, so do you want to vote on the dues?
Do we need to vote on each item separately,
We
or?
need to vote on the dues and the library.
Okay.
Yep.
This is Bernhard. I move that we approve the expenditure amount of $230 for Mass COA dues for fiscal '23.
Gomberg, I second that.
Okay, any discussion? Anybody?
No.
Okay, roll call vote.
Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Ray, I.
Dillinger, I.
And Scott, I. Okay, so I will submit the invoice for payment of the MCOA dues. And then we have the library. Oh, I know, Joanne, you were trying to kind of lead us through what we might need for foot care, and I apologize, we kind of got off that. And so you were kind of trying to think about the library request in balance with everything
Right.
else. Yeah.
Right. So if we use the same number for foot care that we used in '22, which was $2,030, and then add to that the MCOA dues, the donation to Village Neighbors, and then we have about roughly $5,000 left.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
And then we have a mailing that, and I don't know if we know how much the mailing is going to be for the Gazette when we finally get that under control.
Yeah, I probably about 700 to 800. No, it depends on how much paper.
Okay. So
$700, $800.
okay. So then rough numbers, we have maybe $4,000 to spend if there's nothing else that we determine that we want to take on.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So this then, if we look at what, and Susan, these are not firm numbers. These are theoretical numbers. Okay. So if we want to look at what the library is requesting for, I believe Marianne gave us the request for the entire year, right? I'm
No,
not
she
sure.
only gave us the first quarter of FY23, and the request is for $1,500.
Okay.
Recognizing that, let's see, in FY22, we gave
$4,170.
Good job. Thank you. You're fast.
I wrote it all down.
Yes. So yes. So there we go.
So that could be, so if she does ask the same amount each quarter, that's 6,000 that she might be asking. I'm not saying that she's going to ask the same amount every quarter.
Right. But we won't be able to do that with
Right.
what we're allocating so far.
Mhm. So the question becomes, do we want to allocate money per quarter for the fitness programs, or do we want to establish an amount that we can spend for the entire year for fitness programs?
Susan Millinger has a question.
Yes.
Okay, before we get to that point, I would like to know if we're expecting or anticipating more than one issue of the Gazette. Because if so, we would need to
Good
include that.
question.
Good
Right.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
In a
So
good year, we've done what? 3 copies of the three
Three.
issues of the Gazette a year?
Originally there were 4, I think, but as long as I've been around, which was 2019, there were, so that was really only 1 year. I could check on the website if you
We
want.
went down to,
I
we
think
did
it's
go
3.
down to 3. Yeah, we went to 3. Yeah. Yeah. And, if we get one, maybe 2, I think we'd be doing great.
Yeah, at this rate.
Yeah,
So maybe we
so-
ought to put aside money or have aside money for 2 issues.
That would be good.
Yeah, thank you, Susan, for
Yeah.
thinking of
Yeah,
that.
and also I think we need to remember that we or suggesting having a little more in the foot care amount, budget, particularly since, as was pointed out, if new people come, their cost is going to be higher, right? Or are they just being asked to pay higher?
It depends on again, people pay, a range.
But what would our costs though?
Oh, our cost would be higher. Yes. Could be.
That's what I meant.
Susan Gomberg, was that 120 for an initial visit, or was that a permanent charge
Yeah.
to a newer
No,
person?
that's the initial first visit for a new client.
Oh, okay. I wasn't clear
Thank
on
you.
that either. Thank you.
So does the town pay the difference? We pick up the difference in terms of what the patient's able to pay and the service cost, which is what, $90?
The balance comes from our Executive Office of Elder Affairs grant.
Okay,
So that's what all this conversation about grant is about, is that each year we receive, well, the last few years and unless the allocation increases, we receive $6,000 a year in that grant. So that's what we're talking about allocating and how to spread it out over the year and what we feel we can do.
Mhm.
okay.
And
And the town gives us $200, I believe.
yeah, we have
Right.
a $200 expense line from the town budget.
Okay.
Susan Millinger?
Of course, if we were to go back to town hall foot clinic, the cost would be reduced.
Possibly. You may recall that Foot
That's
Care by
right.
Nurses has a proposal for how to manage fees that's quite different from what we were
Yes,
doing
you're-
previously.
You're right.
So we don't really know. And remember that Mary Ann is making a request. We can adjust.
Sure.
We can counter, I guess. So if we take out another, so we're basically looking at about, I just say, if we're giving a little more to Foot Clinic and considering 2 gazettes, which we don't really actually know what the cost will be, it seems like we ought to consider that we have about $3,000 to work with. Does that seem like a reasonable estimate for others, like exercise classes? Susan M?
And we haven't even thought about the possibility of starting MedRide again.
No, we
I
haven't.
think we agreed in our last meeting that we weren't going to do that this year.
I don't know if we actually talked about it in the meeting.
Maybe we didn't, yeah.
Um,
I believe there are a lot of the program would have to be restarted, as I understand it correctly, which means that we would have to get everyone recertified, including Cory checks and a lot of administrative things.
Yep, all new, basically redo everybody's driver application.
This all costs us money, does it?
It
No,
costs us time and energy.
Yeah, this costs a lot of time, and this has to happen mostly at town hall, I believe, inside town hall. And when we were, I think, thinking about this, town hall wasn't really open for business at that point. And we don't have a person actually to manage the program at this point. Because I think wasn't Elaine Paleo was managing it.
Well, Elaine was coordinating the rides, and you and I were doing the administrative back work. But again, like I said, the program has been inactive and wasn't very active at all before pre-pandemic. There wasn't
And I
really
think we're very grateful to Village Neighbors that they have been, right, Elizabeth, providing medical rides for people.
That's correct, Joanne. Yep.
Mhm.
So should we consider abandoning MedRide and giving it over to Village Neighbors since they provide that service?
Susan, I think we need to, I think we don't really have MedRide on the agenda this
Okay.
evening. So I feel that it would be appropriate to, carry over consideration of the MedRide program to a future meeting where we can allocate time to,
Okay.
consider it at length.
I just brought it up because we're talking about finances for
Yeah,
the next year.
I agree.
Exactly. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but I just, it's a longer discussion than,
I hear you.
Mhm.
um,
Okay, circling back to how much we might have to offer to the fitness programs. Linda, were you saying it would be about $3,000?
well, yes, but that doesn't, right, we have, basically, if we take out the cost of an additional GIZAT and factor in some additional dollars for foot care, we have about $3,000.
Okay. And that would be spread theoretically over 4 quarters?
Yes, and right, and that's not giving us any, right, what we might have for other programs,
Mhm.
whatever else we might want to do. So, yeah.
Oh, the screen just shifted. Linda, where'd you go? Where are you? There you are.
I'm
Okay.
here. Elizabeth is raising her hand. Hi, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I will lower it now. And I also wondered where the conversation is about the possible $500 in September for Village Neighbors.
Oh, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. We already, we talked about that. We voted, gosh, in January of 2020, I believe, to allocate $500 annually. So that's already accounted for.
That's beyond your 3,000. Okay,
Yes,
Thanks
yes,
so
it's
much.
already,
that was
right.
my only question.
We already subtracted it.
Mhm. Okay, so did Marianne ask for a certain amount per fitness program, or was it a
No,
generalized amount?
she gave us, she delineated 4 programs, the full fee of 4 programs, that is a total of $3,055.
Mhm.
Her proposal is that the library, sorry about that noise, the library proportion is $1,555, and she's asking us for 1,500.
Mhm. For the fall quarter or for this quarter?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Okay, so we can't do that.
no, no.
I do,
Um,
sorry.
Janice?
Well, Linda may be looking at the same document. I have the breakdown of the different classes, if that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Do you want me to present that, or do you have that, Linda?
You can go
Okay.
ahead, yeah.
Okay, so this was on a June 15th email to us, forwarding a June 13th email from Marianne. So so from July through September, there would be $845 for 13 classes of strength training with Kathy Sword. There would be, for the same period, 13 classes at $520 for gentle yoga with Jeanette. Then there would be yoga therapeutics with Kathy, again, 13 classes, $845. And then strength training with Jay, 13 classes for $845. And I can repeat any of those if you are still writing them down.
No, thank you.
So three of them are all the same. The 3 of them are $845 each. Gentle yoga is less at 520.
Okay, my understanding, this is Millinger, is that it's been our tradition to give Mary Ann a sum of money and let her allot it as she sees fit. Not to say we'll pay for this and not this. Is that not true?
No, I think we actually have done it per session.
We've done a variety of things.
Have we?
We've done it both ways. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Like in this case, she's asking us to pay a portion. And basically half. So, but we can come back with what we can afford. So I'm wondering if anyone has a proposal.
I'm doing math.
Okay,
I would suggest we tell her that we have a maximum for the year. And she can't expect more than that. And, we've been paying for, museum passes.
mhm.
So we could take that out of the budget if we wanted to. And that would give us a little bit more sort of oomph in there for ourselves for something unexpected.
Oh, we haven't even included museum passes in the breakdown for FY '23.
Okay, well, that's something that we paid for in FY '22.
Yep. But, Mary Ann asks us because,
She knows we have extra
we've been
money.
like a bank.
Yeah.
But we haven't had the cost of the Gazette,
Mm-hmm,
at all.
mm-hmm.
So,
So question, this is Bernhardt, do we want to tell Mary Ann that we have $3,000 to give her for the year and let her allot it? Or do we want to
no,
pay for one thing a quarter?
right now, Mary Ann is giving us a request for the first quarter. That's what she's asking for.
Mhm.
I don't think we can tell her at this point that we have $3,000 to allocate for classes because we're at the beginning of the fiscal year. I mean, I think if you want to say that, that's fine, but that right now she's asking us for 1,500.
Yeah, I mean, I did say a maximum of 3,000, and I understand we just assume not to give a figure because we don't know what's gonna happen, and prices are rising all over the place. So some of our estimates are based on last year's money instead of what costs are going to be this year.
Mhm. We can on our own, for our own budgeting purposes, say we've got $3,000 towards fitness classes. Honoring that the request right now is for 1,500 and we need to address that. Does that,
Yeah.
are you following that logic?
I understand that, but I think we need to give Mary Ann a sense of, we really have a limited budget. And if we give you 1,500 now, that doesn't mean we can give you 1,500 every quarter.
Okay. Janice and Susan Gomberg, thoughts?
This is Go
Keep
ahead,
going,
Janet.
Susan Gomberg.
I guess my head is starting to spin a little bit with all these mass quantities of money thrown around. I agree that she's only asking right now for 1,500, so maybe take the 3,000 out at this point. So the question for me is, should we give her the 1,500 for this quarter? I would say, how about we do, and then if she asks for more throughout the year, we just don't have to give it to her, right?
This is Bernhard. I think she may, however, be counting on a more consistent amount through the year, because we've done that before. We've given an amount per quarter as she asks for support for different programs. So if we give her 1,500 now and then we can't support anything or that much more for the remaining 3 quarters, that might not help her plan.
Right.
Perhaps now we could give her $845 for one of the classes. And then see what happens in the next quarter. There are 13 classes scheduled. The winter quarter seems to be a little shorter, as I recall from having been in the classes, because holidays arise and there are Christmas vacations and Thanksgiving and things like that shorten the number of weeks for the program. So it might be a little less in the winter quarter.
Janice?
Yeah, I kind of, I'm on the fence in that if we say, okay, Marianne, we're going to give you 1,500 for this quarter, and then we've said among ourselves, and of course in the minutes and everything else, well, the most we can really do is 3,000 for the whole year. That gives her 500. Let's see, I'm doing the math wrong myself now.
500 for each additional.
Yeah, I was doing the math right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's such an enormous drop. I think she needs to have some sense of that.
Yeah. I'm appreciating that more now too, that I think so, in the past, Marianne has come so we could talk with her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
My calculator.
Well, also
so-
the past few years, we haven't really had our own expenditures very much, except for the foot clinic. We really haven't had COA expenditures, and now we're looking at increasing the COA expenditures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay. So in the essence, because of time, it seems like what we're coming to is we have a proposal of from Joanne of $845 for one of the classes for the first quarter of FY23, and letting Marianne know that we have at this point a cap of $3,000 towards classes.
Mhm.
That
And that ends up actually being $750 a quarter, which is even less than one class right now.
okay, but that's where we are right now.
Or do we want to give her $750 a quarter?
Well, as you said, Joanne, some quarters are shorter than others, winter, for example. And we don't really know, what if we did go back into town hall with foot clinic? We don't really, actually, that would depend on what foot care by nurses is really going to be charging us, I realize, which
That's
could
right.
be more. Yeah.
Right.
But we have a lot of open ends here.
Yeah. Elizabeth?
As a longtime producer of events that happen quarterly, mostly artistic, but same sort of thing, here's my perspective. I didn't know that you didn't have as much money. I'm talking as if I'm Marianne, as much money as previously I requested, this 4,000. And if you start with 845 and you're clear that there's not as much, at least that gives me one class. And then I know that I need to go look for funds elsewhere. But you have guaranteed me at least one for this quarter. So that's my perspective.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Is anyone brave enough to make a motion?
This is
I'm
Domberg. I move that we we give support to Marianne in the form of paying for one class a quarter. And as I say that, I know it needs fleshing out somewhat.
Janice here, just to add that in terms of the fleshing out, right now, 3 of the 4 classes that she's talking about are the same amount. They're not all the same amount. So there does need to be a little fine tuning because it won't be clear which one we're talking about. Or else maybe she'll say, okay, yeah, you can pay for the gentle yoga, which is $520, but I don't think, you know.
I suggest again that we don't name a specific class, that we just say
Yeah.
we'll give you $845 towards the exercise activities, the exercise classes
There we go.
of the first quarter.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the motion's been revised according to Susan Millinger for $845 for the first quarter. Is there a second?
I have a further comment.
We
Do
should
we wa-
second the motion and then go
Oh.
from there.
Okay, Bernhard, second.
Okay, discussion.
Discussion. I agree with $845 for the first quarter, but do we also want to tell Marianne at the same time that our cap on expenditures for fitness programs for the year will be $3,000? Because last year we were able to give a lot. And this is going to be probably unexpectedly low for her to figure out paying for these classes. So the motion would read to give $845 for the first quarter fitness classes and what do you call it? A notice to Marianne that the cap for the year would be $3,000. Susan.
I'd like to suggest that we say at this time, it appears that the cap for the year would be $3,000 because what if we decide not to put out the Gazette or only put out one issue? We'd have more money. You know, we don't know what's going to happen exactly in a number of areas.
And in gray here, and on the flip side of that, we also don't know if we might have unexpected expenses and we can't do the 3,000.
True.
Which, and by the way, 845 times 4 is 3,380. So if she's thinks she's gonna get 845 every quarter, that exceeds our projected cap. So
Right, okay, all right, so, all right, we're getting a little bit
over the top here.
all right, so we have a motion on the table that says $845 for the first quarter. That is the current motion. How about if we vote on that motion and then we have a second motion for the other piece?
Millinger likes that.
Okay, okay. Ready to vote?
Okay. Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
And Scott, aye. Okay, when Susan Millinger is ready, let's entertain a second motion.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Do you want to say it? Or does someone else want to say it?
Okay, that we move that we inform the library director that at the present time, we think we will not be able to give more than $3,000. Oh, wait a second. No, we shouldn't say that. At the present time, we think that we'll be able to spend a total of $3,000 for fitness classes, but that we're not sure.
For fiscal 23.
For fiscal 23.
Okay, let's try to make that like a motion.
Cleaner.
Yes. All right.
Somebody else want to try?
Go ahead, Susan. You almost had it.
Me again?
Yeah, you.
Ellender again? Move that we inform the library director that the most we expect to be able to contribute to fitness classes in fiscal 23
Okay, wait.
is $3,000.
I'm going to stop you, Susan, because, yeah, I feel, all right, can I give it?
Yes, please do.
Okay, all right. I make a motion, we let the library director know that at this time, subject to change, we have a cap of $3,000 for fitness classes in FY '23.
That's good.
Okay. Bernhard, second.
Discussion,
I think
Okay.
we're good.
can we vote?
Mhm. Bernhard, aye.
Baumberg, aye.
Ray, I.
Mellinger, aye.
And Scott, I. Are you okay, Susan, with
Just-
everything?
I just want to repeat what I've written down.
Sure.
The motion is to let the library director know that at this time, subject to change, the Council on Aging has a cap of $3,000 for fitness classes in FY '23.
Everybody good?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Okay. Are we ready to hear from Elizabeth?
Yes.
Thank you for your patience, Elizabeth.
No problem. Fernandez O'Brien here. So what I want to do is just kind of review the things that we talked about before and maybe get a little clarification. And the first one is clarification for timing. Is there something that we can do in order to help you put together your Gazette when you have that conversation? And I do have to leave this meeting in about 15-20 minutes. So that we can help you get a system going of receiving our newsletters, receiving our constant contact notices, and then when you get a chance to publish it in the Gazette. So if that could be part of your Gazette conversation, we would be happy to help in whatever way we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means, can I just ask you a quick question? So that means like you would send us what you would like to have in there in our Gazette.
Unless one of you is already receiving it, and I imagine if you're a Village Neighbor member, you're already receiving the newsletter and you're already receiving the Constant Contacts. Newsletter comes out again on September 1st. Constant Contact comes out the 15th-ish of every month.
Yeah, we.
Sorry, what do you
we
mean
are-
by constant contact? I mean, I know what constant contact is, but what is content?
Oh,
What
I'm
do you mean
sorry.
by-
That's a really insular way of saying the notices that go out to members go out on the 15th of every month.
You use constant contact.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the problem is, yeah, I think some of us do get the newsletter, but how do we know which particular, the newsletter is pretty full. How do we know which particular things you want us to put in the Gazette?
I think that it's pick and choose for you unless we have a concern. And then it would be our job to communicate with you what we hope that you would put in the Gazette.
Okay. I understand.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So the next thing is, let's see, any word on the Life Path survey?
No.
Yeah.
Now that Noor has left Life Path, I think things kind of fell down, but hopefully we'll get it at some point. The next thing I have is there anyone who is willing to do a tour of your website, or, that wonderful list that you gave at the beginning to Martha about what is it that councils on aging do? I think just that kind of information, we set up a Zoom, you talk about it, you say, this is our website address if you want to look at it, just so that it makes it less stressful for our members to go to your website. Is that something that you would be willing to do?
I'm not sure I understand.
So what Village Neighbors is doing, what I proposed and was accepted, was to give tours of websites. So the Healthy Aging Collaborative, James Fuccione, Life Path. And what I'm trying to do is get people to use the internet to help themselves.
Mhm.
And so it would mean going over the list of Mass Council on Aging is a quasi-governmental organization. They give us funds. They have a rural conference. They have a weekly newsletter, you know, just those kinds of things so that people, it kind of is an advertisement for you. And it just gives people a way of entering into the internet at a low stress level.
And how does that happen?
It would be on Zoom.
Oh.
We would send out a Zoom invitation in our notices that go out on the 15th of every month.
And then one of us, we would be screen sharing our webpage. Is
Yep.
that okay?
Yep.
Janice?
You want to talk about that after I leave? I'm, you know, you can get back to me.
Okay. Yeah, we will.
Put it on your agenda or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, I've got it. We can talk about that. Okay.
All right. I unfortunately have no information still on the Franklin Regional Transit Authority.
Mm.
And Jeanette just promised me that she would get back in touch with Rita at Select Board and try to move it forward.
Okay.
And,
Thank
you know, that would help because if you're not going to pick up med rides again, I don't know, I'd have to check with my other towns. But if you're not, then the gap between what Village Neighbors can do and what Franklin Regional Transit Authority could do, I think between the two of them, we could maybe make it enough, but that's for further investigation. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, so now the next thing is we would like to find out where you got your LGBTQ plus training from and how we can get that training.
Oh.
This was, it must have come from the Executive Council on Elder Affairs.
Yeah, Executive Office of Elder Affairs.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I have the thing here.
okay. And it was required training for all COA members.
Yeah, and I would love to get it for all villages.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
you'd have to contact the executive office then,
Yeah,
I would think.
yeah, that's a great lead. Thank you.
I probably still
sure.
have that email that was sent out with the link that would take you to the website to find out.
Mhm.
Okay, PR@villageneighbors.org is our email, and if you'll just send it to me there, that would be great.
I know I have it in a folder from a couple of months ago.
Great.
Thank you, Janice.
And I think they did say somewhere that it's not, you know, it can be like if you have a nursing home, you don't have to be a council on aging. It's for anybody who's involved with the elder. So
Wonderful.
hopefully it'll be in there and you can find it. So
And then the other thing is that it will also help us find out what other trainings are required for you and for others so that we can begin to do that as well, either through LifePath to the villages, or we could just do it directly our village. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. Village Neighbors is about to meet with UMDI, which is UMass Donahue Institute. UMass Donahue Institute helps not only 501c3s, which we are nonprofits, but other organizations to increase their capacity. And I hear little vague references to that in yours, which is we haven't done the Gazette or whatever. I'm just saying we are exploring the possibility of trying to increase our capacity. And we want to not only do it with UMDI, but also with an organization called Rainmakers. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not. David Sharkin and a few other people run that organization, and they are focused also on nonprofits, but they have other kinds of organizations. And one of the reasons why we're talking to first UMDI and maybe Rainmakers is because one of our goals for this fiscal year is to find a way to get a paid assistant. Leverett, the town of Leverett has a line item in their budget that says 4 hours for an outreach worker. What was mentioned here today was that Shutesbury has a line item of $200. What we would like to do is to investigate the possibility for Village Neighbors to try and get each town to increase that line item so that there is, whatever you want to call it, outreach worker, administrative assistant, whatever, so that all of us can have some hours of expertise and time, because none of us ever have enough time and energy to do these things. And maybe we could do it in a collaborative way. So what we're proposing to you is for you to consider going to the town, A, and asking for an increase in that line item, and B, being open to collaborating with Village Neighbors on getting a person in place that is a perhaps half-time worker and sharing it with other towns.
I think we would need a budget, a proposal of what that would look like.
Sure.
Yep.
I'll give you a ballpark figure right now, and that is if the total were about 450 a week, that would be 20 hours, and that would be spread among, right now, 5 organizations. And those 5 organizations are the 5 councils on aging, but obviously the town of Wendell and the town of New Salem may not be able to do as much. And I'm trying to keep this focused on Shutesbury. And the idea would be then that person, that employee would spend 20 hours among the 5 organizations. So you'd get 4 hours a week.
Okay, and what would that amount to for Shutesbury? What would we be asking for?
Well, it would be $100 a week.
Okay,
$25.
You're talking about $1,200 a year?
$25, I'm sorry, $25 per hour times 4 hours would be Shutesbury's portion.
A week.
$100 a week.
All right.
That's
So-
$5,200 a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so this is a topic to be carried over to a future
Absolutely.
meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're just opening the door and saying, would you be willing to discuss it? And please come back with us, to us with your ideas. Okay. I think that's all I have, but I'm open at this point to any questions or concerns or ideas that you have.
So do you have a job description for this assistant?
Yes, but it is focused on a volunteer coordinator for Village Neighbors. So we have an edited so that it would fit all of the COAs as well as Village Neighbors.
Okay.
But I could send it to you.
That'll
That
be
might probably
helpful
help our conversation later.
when we have our conversation at a future meeting. Yes.
Okay, and I sent it to the COA
Mhm.
email.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Elizabeth.
yeah, sure. I'm just curious, the initial reaction, and believe me, you don't have to stay permanently with this, but would it help to have 4 hours a week?
I think we would want to just talk about it at a future meeting,
Okay.
Elizabeth, and I appreciate your asking for initial impressions, but that's hard to do. And we do have another really big agenda item left to talk about. And if you don't
fine.
mind,
It's
yeah.
fine. Yeah. Okay. And I appreciate you continuing to invite village neighbors into your meetings. And you'll hopefully, hopefully on my part, you'll see Jeanette next time.
Well,
Thank you.
it's really great. It's really wonderful to be having collaboration, and
It's also delightful to see your faces.
likewise.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Sure. I might stay for another minute, but I do have to exit pretty soon.
Okay. Okay. Gizette, everybody.
Mhm. What do we have now? We had talked about various articles that we were working on, and what do we have?
Well, I can report that we have a short article from Kevin Rudden, our administrative assessor. So we have that.
Uh-huh.
And Joanne, through Adam Frank at the EOA, we have two short sort of bulleted informational boxes on prescription advantage information and tips from Shine.
Mhm.
So we have those informational bits.
I can report that I did go back through the 2019 article about where you can get, walkers and things like that.
Triad.
Developmental equipment. Yeah, well, not just Triad. Not
Oh,
just.
okay. Okay.
And so I went through and I contacted all the sources listed in there and got some updated information. We had begun with Mark Foster of the fire department telling me in 2009 to call Triad. And so they were there. And also the Amherst Senior Center loan closet is available to Shutesbury seniors, and Stavros Center for Independent Living. However, I talked to Mark again, and they have so little space and so much to do, they don't want to be mentioned. So it would be a shorter article because the fire department would not be in it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Can I just interrupt for a second? Wendell Senior Center has it too. And they're open to lending.
Oh, okay.
Okay. When I was actually looking for a piece of medical equipment for myself, I called Amherst, and they said because Shutesbury was in Franklin County, they really would prefer not to lend medical equipment.
That is not what I was told. Okay. Well,
Okay.
I won't mention them if you don't want me to.
Well, maybe it depends on what they have to offer.
They did shorten their list of what they had.
Okay, but they gave you a list?
Well, I had an old list and she gave me a shorter list.
Good, okay. So it is there. Okay.
Okay, has anybody heard from Sally?
No, and I've been trying to follow up on that, but I have not succeeded.
Okay, right. Thank you, Susan.
Mhm. No, don't thank me. I have really not failed at my task.
Okay, and Sally we were going to ask Sally to interview the new police chief.
Yep, and she is interested, but I'm not sure what's happened.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
content wise, we have, some short pieces and the equipment lending article, and the feature was going to be something from Sally.
Well, I will pursue that. Do we have a date in mind that would require rapid acquisition?
Well, I think we were hoping
Yeah.
For August, yeah.
And I remember that we were trying to have it come out not before the Village Neighbors newsletter and before the Our Town.
Mhm.
And now they're saying Village Neighbors is gonna come out on September 1st, I think she said. So it's kind of messed up.
Yeah, but ours is gonna get mailed to everybody.
I know, but you know,
I know.
I don't think, okay, Sally can send her article around for us to comment on, yes?
Yes,
Mhm.
We don't have to have Sally at an actual meeting, which we couldn't anyway, because she's not available on Wednesday afternoons, evenings.
Right, I mean, so what we're going to do, I guess what we should, Janice has her article, so if I'll send Janice the bit from Kevin and the other bits from Adam Frank, right? So we'll have those.
there was also, just throwing out there, there's also still those things that did not go into the spring Our Town.
Oh, right,
Got a couple other little bits there too.
right, the Valley Eye and, yep.
Was there anything we wanted to include from our website?
That was the stuff that's on the
Oh,
website
okay,
that didn't get
okay.
into the Our Town.
Right,
right.
right, and we have we'll have a bit that drives people to the website
We were
and,
gonna do something about
Yeah.
food programs, but it's getting kind of late. I mean, we
Right.
still can, but like the farm to table, I'm not sure where that
by the
is.
time we get to that, right, it'll
But
be.
they didn't,
too late.
they were delayed in their startup. I think, so they weren't even gonna start till August.
Oh,
So it's still, who was doing that? Was that LifePath?
Yes,
So we could find out,
Yeah.
it could still be going on, and it could still go on into fall. I know because we have a CSA and it goes on into November. So there still could be farm to table things going on, through the fall. So I'll contact LifePath and see what's happening with that.
thank you. I'm looking at the website now just to see, and it is on there, but there's no dates. It's just a link, just a general description and a link
Yeah,
put there.
okay. I'll follow up on that and see
thank you.
if we can put that in. Also, the Amherst Senior Center once a month delivery is still going on too.
Survival Center, you mean?
Right. Sorry, Survival Center. Right.
Yeah, is this some sources for food?
Yes,
Yes.
these are
Okay.
sources for food.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
we
mean,
have
I volunteer at Not Bread Alone, and they have 3 meals a week.
At
So
where,
at
Martha?
Not Bread Alone, and that's at the Congo Church in Amherst.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And they serve meals. They serve meals or take, people, or the food is packed. So,
Mhm.
and I know the Amherst Survival Center offers meals too, and that might be helpful for people to know.
Janice, that program that we went to that is in addition to HIPAA, you remember that? I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Healthy Incentives Program,
Yes,
farm share stuff.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Atlas Farm Store is participating in that. So that's fairly close to
And
us.
so is the Leverett Co-op, or at least it was.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I believe that's what or I think so. I may be getting confused.
I'll look
So-
into it.
So we have, we get a list every month with the participating vendors.
Of the Healthy Initiative?
Yep.
Okay.
And is that on the website or?
No, we don't put it, we don't have the list on the website. Because I don't know if we could, but no, sorry, my cat.
I'm just trying to make a list right now so that I
Yeah.
know what's coming, since I'm the one that's going to be putting this thing together.
Yep, so that's,
So I'm thinking I might be missing some things. So if Susan's been taking notes, if you could read it back or send it to me afterwards.
Sure. I can tell you what I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be good. I'm afraid I'm gonna forget and not realize I don't have something. There's someone I'm supposed to chase for it.
Okay, and then we can also describe the foot care program. If we have other room, Janice, I don't know what other things you didn't get into our town, but we can also go back to the how to prepare for a medical emergency if we need to.
I think we're gonna run out of room pretty fast.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're trying to keep it down, you know, we.
no, I'm just saying if we need things, you know, there are things we can put in
Yeah.
to close space.
Yes, yeah. So I think Janice, Susan, were you gonna, something about Janice getting a list? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm supposed to give Janice a list of what got mentioned here. And I will also undertake to contact Sally, if not tonight, if she doesn't answer tonight, tomorrow,
okay.
to get a sense of whether she's still interested in doing it, and then she could do it within the next week or two.
Yeah.
Would that be acceptable?
Good for me. My life's gonna change pretty drastically in a couple of weeks. So
Okay. So do you have a personal date by which you need things?
are you speaking to me?
Yes, Janice, I am.
No, I
sorry.
don't, because okay, very quickly, I'm gonna have a change of chemotherapy. Things are gonna change. I don't know when it's gonna happen. Could be a
Okay,
month, it could be 2 weeks. I don't know.
okay. But the sooner the better, as soon as you're concerned.
Yeah,
for
because
getting-
right
for
now
getting
I'm
stuff
okay.
in.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So I will, I'm gonna forward to you, Janice, the Kevin's piece and the prescription advantage and the tips from
That,
John.
no, that was it, prescription advantage. There was some other things you mentioned that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Something else. I'll
And-
also look to see what Susan comes up with.
Yeah, and the Shine program, the tips from the Shine program, and LifePath. I recently sent out something that they had
Yeah.
trained and certified a bunch of new Shine coordinators or workers.
Yeah, I've been saving all that stuff that you send out to my folder that I haven't looked at
Okay.
today.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Joanne's gonna follow up about the farm to home and see the status of that.
Yes. And I'll also make sure that the Amherst Survival Center food distribution is still going on. Okay,
Thank you.
and I'll get that to you next week, Janice.
Okay, thank you.
And on the other part of the newsletter, I am happy to report that Joanne Bernhard did a huge job and input all the names and addresses into the spreadsheet and coordinated a lot of the people, you know, the partner people. And I am working bit by bit to do the rest of the partner people that we know about. So that is huge, and really a huge appreciation to Joanne for an immense amount of work, hours and hours and hours of work.
Now I know who everybody is.
Yeah. Yeah, the spreadsheet, I mean, you know, hundreds of
Mhm.
addresses.
Really? Wow.
Well, I think we had 700 or so.
700, yes.
Yeah,
So we're, you know, whittling it down now because
Yeah.
of
doing
the,
trying to do the couples.
putting the couples, yes, which is
Oh,
a little cross-eyed, but we do it, we're doing it. So,
Great, thank you.
yeah, so that was huge. So thank you,
So-
Joanne.
So if we're looking at, shall we look at trying to get things to Janice by next week if possible? Probably not the Kristen article, but the police chief article.
Oh, okay.
But the rest of the things, I think we can get to Janice by next week.
Yep, I will most likely do mine tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we'll see where we're at. I'm wondering if we want, I mean, when Janice has a draft, she can send it to everybody and we can just write back to her if we have anything else, to add.
Okay.
But do we want to okay, so once we have the newsletter and the mailing pre-sort address list is all as best as we can make it, then it'll all go to Adam's direct mail services.
Mhm.
So it'll be a something that's maybe, it'll be folded and
Hmm.
so I just wondered if we want to try to, do we feel a need to meet to talk about the Gazette more, or shall we just move along with it as it unfolds and have our regular meeting in August, which is the 10th.
Janice, you're the person who's going to be putting this together. What do you think?
I was writing notes to myself and wasn't totally paying attention. So we're trying to get a draft together by August 10th.
Well, I was wondering, August 10th is our next meeting.
Yeah.
And so I was just trying to sort out, how do we want to move from here?
Well, if I can get stuff, let's see, August 10th is, of course, my calendar is flipped to July.
Mhm.
Right,
So
so the 10th is in
2 weeks.
2 weeks, actually. Believe it? Yeah, that's 2 weeks.
yeah. I may not be feeling very well at that point, but we'll see. So what I can certainly do is I can send what I've got, and I have a hole that says this space reserved for Sally's piece if we don't have it,
Mhm.
because most of this stuff's already done.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
it's just putting it in. Like Kevin's is in an email, so.
I've done, that's what many of my newsletter articles for other newsletters come as, so.
Mhm.
So should we have a backup plan in case we don't get the interview for this issue from Sally?
We'll just go with what we've got.
Kevin's might be sufficient. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty, I mean, we'll go with what we've got. It'll just be a lot of information and we'll just do it. And
Okay, Kevin's would be important enough to be the main issue,
yeah,
the main article.
providing phone numbers and links to all these various resources.
And, okay, so there has been, not too long ago, there was a Village Neighbors newsletter. Do we want to, one of us look at the newsletter and see what in there we might want to include in our own?
Was Elizabeth going to suggest what they would like for us to include?
What'd she say?
She said if there was something special, they would let us know, but what
Okay.
she implied was that we should do our own picking.
Yep, she said pick and choose.
Okay. Okay, so if there's a need to fill a space, we can do that. We also can
Oh,
mention that the police efforts with the Sand for Seniors program, that was very successful and will be coming again next. Winter.
who is saying that?
Right, we don't know that, Joanne.
Well,
I'm
Kristen
sorry.
Kristen said it was very successful, and they distributed sand to a number of seniors, and I guess we could check with her and make sure that it would be coming again, but it seems like it would be. or not.
Yeah, we just don't know, Joanne. That's the
Yeah.
thing. We don't know. I don't want to say something's going to happen when we don't know.
Yeah, okay.
All
So,
right.
Janice, why
There was
don't I
something else.
suggest,
There was something else that I was thinking, oh, we do, come on, brain. I'm
Take your
sorry, there
time,
was something
Janet.
else
Take your
that I
time.
thought we should have in it and it slipped my mind. That we've done in the past. Oh, what do we want to say about the fitness classes? We don't know yet, but we do, but we in the past have mentioned what the library is doing.
Mhm.
This newsletter is getting large, just want you to know.
Yeah, so we want to, Janice and I have a familiarity with knowing kind of the limit of what we can do. And
And I'm talking about the Gazette, not the our town limitations. The Gazette's a 14 or larger point. There's,
right.
I don't know how many pages we can get away with. I'd have to look to see what the other ones were.
Okay.
I've only laid out one of them in the past, so.
Right, and we did a fold, which if we don't have to do a fold, I think it's gonna be. Well, I don't know, if we had one sheet to fold, one sheet, you know what I'm talking about,
Okay, the last one was only 4 pages
right?
or 4 sides. So in other words, two pages, 2 8.5 by 11s back to back.
Right, right, and so that's what I was thinking, one 11 by 17 that's folded in half.
You can look on the website because they're all up there.
Right,
That's
but
what I'm doing now.
we printed those in-house.
Yeah, and so far I'm seeing all of them are 4 pages.
Right, we printed those in-house. And,
Oh, here's one that's 7. So we could go larger, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I will shut up.
right, but we have to think about what's gonna work, we cost-wise with
Right.
Adams.
Mhm,
Yeah,
If we have
okay.
to have an 8.5 by 11 put in, then that's more,
mhm. So if we want to limit it to 4 pages,
right, which is actually 1, 2, 3, and then a half a page, because the other half has to be the address. So it's
okay, 3.5,
3.5, right, Joanne? Right,
okay.
3.5.
So do you think we should have a meeting next week to see what things look like?
Or
Or wait till the week after? That's the
2
question.
weeks. So Janice, your thoughts?
Let me stand up and show you my clothing and while I look at the calendar, trying to figure things out here. Well, next week's only August 3rd.
Right, yeah.
I think the 10th is all right.
Okay,
Well, we may, and what I can do is lay out what we've got, and then we can look at it and say, okay, if we're gonna limit it to 4 pages, or actually 3.5, what goes?
Mhm, okay,
I hate to put it that way, but
no, good.
yeah, I mean, if we need to have an 8.5, well, let's see where we're at.
right, yeah.
Okay? And if we have to add in a page, we will, of course. But yeah, let's see where we're at. Okay, so we'll have our regular meeting on the 10th.
Okay,
Okay, which is only 2 weeks. Woo. All right, and so it is 7:04. I want to say one other thing, we also have to think about our annual report, but we can have that on our next agenda. And we have vacancies, and so I wanted to see if Martha has any questions, any thoughts after attending this evening.
I was hoping that's why you were here.
So what's the process of join, do people have to elect you at, how does this work? Or can you just join?
So what usually happens is that folks would attend a couple meetings to
Uh-huh.
see if you like what we're doing.
Mhm.
And if and that it's a kind of a all fit and you're interested and want to come, then what happens is that we would say yay, and then we recommend to the select board, and then the select board appoints.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah, so we
good.
recommend, the select board is the appointing authority
okay,
for the Council on Aging. And so then we would, that's how it works. And we generally meet on the second Wednesday of every month at 5:30 p.m. And we usually are finished by, or if not before, 7.
okay,
Tonight's different.
okay, second Wednesday, every 2 weeks?
No, actually, no,
Oh,
we
once a
usually
month.
we only meet on the second, well, I shouldn't say we only, but we meet on the second Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
This month, we're 2 weeks later because we had a Zoom snafu.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
That's why we're meeting on the 27th instead of the 13th.
okay, all right, thank you. Yeah. Oh, I'll be back on the 10th.
Great.
Okay, great. It's wonderful to have you be interested, Martha. Thank you. And
You're welcome. No, I'm not quite sure, in terms of, well, it's interesting to hear what you're doing, and it just sort of makes me think about, what are the things that, in terms of information that would be needed.
Mhm.
So it's a good place to start. I mean, I'm involved with Village Neighbors doing medical rides
Mm.
for them.
Thank you.
And I do just like to throw out that we had a lot of ideas for fun things to do too, but COVID came along and couldn't do so many of them. So it's not all the stuff you've been hearing tonight.
Right.
It has potential to be more.
Yes,
Right.
we used to have monthly potluck lunches.
Oh, nice, to get
Yes.
people together.
Yes.
Mhm.
Henry Geddes is in our waiting room. I'm not sure why, so I'm going to admit him and check in, okay?
Sure.
Is there a meeting after this?
I don't know, but
Thought there was a historical commission meeting after this.
that's probably why he wants us to get off. Okay, let me find out. It wasn't supposed to be a problem, but
I just saw it on the calendar.
I bet you it is, because anyway, I don't need to tell you what happened, but
Well, everybody got screwed up. So
hi, Henry.
Henry, you're muted.
Hello.
Hi, Henry. We just realized that we need to get off so that you can have your historical commission meeting,
Yeah.
right?
I'm hoping that's the only obstacle here because.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna finish right now. It
All right.
wasn't supposed to happen, but anyway.
That's okay. That's
All right,
okay.
we're gonna adjourn. Okay,
Alrighty.
bye, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, so there we go. Motion to adjourn, please.
move to adjourn. Second, Ray seconds.
Okay. Okay.
Bernhard, I.
Bamberg, aye.
Gray eye.
Millinger, aye.
And Scott, I. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna close quick so they can get
Bye.
on. Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.